أيها المظلوم والمظلوم، لعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. السلام عليك يا ولي الله وابن وليه، لقد عظمت المصيبة وجلت الرزية بك علينا وعلى جميع المسلمين، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، وأبرأ إلى الله وإليك منهم. أزور السادة الشهداء. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباءه، السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداءه، السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الناصح، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله، بأبي أنتم وأمي طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم، وفزتم فوزا عظيما، فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. أزور أبي الفضل العباس. السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع لله ولرسوله ولأمير المؤمنين والحسن والحسين صلى الله عليهم وسلم. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته ومغفرته ورضوانه وعلى روحك وبدنك. أشهد وأشهد الله أنك مضيت على ما مضى به البدريون والمجاهدون في سبيل الله، المناصحون له في جهاد أعدائه، المبالغون في نصرة أوليائه، الذابون عن أحبائه، فجزاك الله أفضل الجزاء وأكثر الجزاء وأوفر الجزاء وأوفى جزاء أحد ممن وفى ببيعته واستجاب له دعوته وأطاع ولاة أمره. أشهد أنك قد بالغت في النصيحة وأعطيت غاية المجهود، فبعثك الله في الشهداء وجعل روحك مع أرواح السعداء، وأعطاك من جنانه أفسحها منزلا وأفضلها غرفا، ورفع ذكرك في عليين، وحشرك مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين، وحسن أولئك رفيقا. أشهد أنك لم تهن ولم تنكل، وأنك مضيت على بصيرة من أمرك، مقتديا بالصالحين ومتبعا للنبيين، فجمع الله بيننا وبينك وبين رسوله وأوليائه في منازل المخبتين، فإنه أرحم الراحمين. أزور الإمام الحسن المجتبى عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا صفوة الله، السلام عليك يا أمين الله، السلام عليك يا حجة الله، السلام عليك يا نور الله، السلام عليك يا محجة الله، السلام عليك يا صراط الله، السلام عليك يا لسان حكمة الله، السلام عليك يا ناصر دين الله، السلام عليك أيها السيد الزكي، السلام عليك أيها البر التقي، السلام عليك أيها القائم الأمين، السلام عليك أيها العالم بالتنزيل، السلام عليك أيها العالم بالتأويل، السلام عليك أيها الباهر الخفي، السلام عليك أيها الطاهر الزكي، السلام عليك أيها الشهيد الصديق، السلام عليك أيها الحق الحقيق، السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا محمد الحسن بن علي، ورحمة الله وبركاته. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
صل على بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والخلق والمرسلين سيدنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. We would like to, here at the Al-Basheer Islamic Foundation, we would like to extend our sincerest thanks and gratitudes to Sheikh Ahsan Ahmadi for accepting our invitation for the Majlis of Imam Al-Hassan, the martyrdom of Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam. We would like to let the mu'mineen know that he has another program Saturday as well at 8 p.m. تشكر إدارة مؤسسة البشير الإسلامية والحضور والقائمين عليها الشيخ إحسان أحمدي لقبوله الدعوة في إحياء استشهاد الإمام الحسن عليه السلام، ذكرى استشهاد الإمام الحسن عليه السلام. ونريد أن نذكر المؤمنين أن هنالك مجلس يوم السبت الساعة 8 مساء إن شاء الله. فلنستقبل الشيخ إحسان أحمدي بأعلى الصلوات. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Recite salawat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Probably needs a second salawat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. وأما بعد، فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين لا يرجون لقاءنا ورضوا بالحياة الدنيا واطمأنوا بها والذين هم عن آياتنا غافلون أولئك مأواهم النار بما كانوا يكسبون إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات يهديهم ربهم بإيمانهم تجري من تحتهم الأنهار في جنات النعيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم. First and most of all, جميعا salamun alaykum wa rahmatullah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your great deeds and a'mal, especially your commemoration and mourning for Imam Al-Hussein Sayyid Al-Shahadat alayhi salatu wa salam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq of his ziyarat inshallah in this world and the benefits of his shafa'ah in this world and the next by reciting aloud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My most sincere and condolences on the arrival of the Shahada and martyrdom of Imam Al-Hassan Al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. And inshallah we can gain the benefits of his shafa'ah and his karama as he's known for the kareem of the Ahlul Bayt by reciting loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Last and the most important of all, let us sincere our intention and have that ikhlas and sincerity And inshallah, we can combine our energy and motivation and forces so that we can send our fourth and last and the loudest of salawat in the honor of Imam of Time, Hazrat Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, Ajjalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There is a beautiful hadith by Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam, which has been narrated in the book Kamil al-Ziyarat. In that one, Imam is talking about the event of Ashura. After he talks about that one, there is this takmila, there is this like this second aspect of the hadith in which Imam talks about it at the end. And he says, "Inna iblis la'natullah fi dhalika al-yawm yatiru faraha فيجول الأرض كلها بشياطينه وعفاريته فيقول يا معاشر الشياطين قد أدركنا من ذرية آدم الطلبة وبلغنا في هلاكهم الغاية وأورثناهم النار إلا من اعتصم بهذه العصابة فاجعلوا شغلكم بتشكيك الناس فيهم وحملهم على عداوتهم وإغراهم بهم وأوليائهم حتى تستحكموا ضلالة الخالق وكفرهم ولا ينجو منهم ناج." Then Imam says, وَلَقَدْ صَدَّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ إِبْلِيسِ وَهُوَ كَذُوبٌ. So it's a beautiful part of hadith when Imam al-Sajjad is talking to his famous companion Janada, and he's telling him that on this day, Shaitan becomes happy from the tragedy of Ashura. So he puts the call out for all of the other shayateen and for all of the other, like, the evil forces that he has in control. He combines all of them. And what does he tells him? He tells him about the great victory that he has been able to achieve. So immediately he asks him to go and spread around the world, and what to do. فَاجْعَلُوا شُغَلَكُمْ بِتَشْكِيكِ النَّاسِ فِيهِمْ. So do not let this to become basically a means in the hand of mu'mineen and mu'minat in order to find that guidance. So spread out around the world and like combine whatever energy and forces that you have to make doubts in people's mind about the tragedy of Ashura. وَأَغْرَاهِمْ بِهِمْ وَأَوْلِيَائِهِمْ حَتَّى تَسْتَحْكِمُوا ضَلَالَةَ الْخَالِقِ. And continue this till when? Till this zulma of like ignorance completely takes over them. وَكُفْرَهُمْ وَلَا يَنْجُو مِنْهُمْ نَاجٍ. To the point that it doesn't matter who gives them a sermon, who tries to provide this guidance and hidayah, there will be no naji for them. There will be no savior for them. So this is Imam al-Sajjad talking on the day of Ashura when he's narrating the story to the famous companion. Meaning the tragedy of Ashura, again, if you do not take the messages from it, as if like we have fallen for the work of the shayateen and their army, right? So that's their function, to make sure the message of Ashura does not get delivered. Vice versa, the mission and the duty of the Ahlul Bayt, starting with Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam, is to make sure these messages and lessons of Ashura gets carried over from generation to another generation, reaching us at this moment and this day and time. So as we talk about the movement of Imam al-Hussein, number one, let's not take a look at it from an incidental point, saying it's only one event and then it's finished. No, take that event, learn from the lessons, and keep the lessons alive within our current contemporary time. That becomes the number one duty that we have towards the movement of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Now, along the same line, as we were talking about the Shahada of Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam, which in reality, when we look at his life and the circumstances that he was placed in, we can easily say he was the most mazlum of all of the Imams. How so? You look at different condition of his life, the people that he had to deal with, the people known as Muslimin and Muslimat that he had to deal with. Not only that, but the condition of the enemy of his time, right? So the very same people, if I want to give an example, the very same people who were like actually betraying Amir al-Mu'minin on his last journey. As you all know, after the third war, the battle of Nahrawan, the battle against the hypocrites and the Khawarij, as Amir al-Mu'minin was talking and delivering sermons in the masjid of Kufa, nobody would be listening to him. Everybody would be pretending to do something else on the side. They will be on their cell phones playing games. They will be on their cell phones buying stocks. They will be on their cell phones, like, trading their farms for the livestock and animals and cows and sheeps, right? Amir al Mu'mineen sitting on a member, talking to them, trying to, motivate them, give them the energy to stand up against Muawiyah. Yet again, people are looking at their cell phones at that time, right? Their cell phones at that time were the thoughts of businesses, right? How do I make more of a farming? How can I harvest more? How can I have more of a livestock? How can I, trade this for that, right? Similar concept in today's lifetime. So we can refer to the cell phones of today's lifetime. Very same people, the very same people were carried over to Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba. So the mentality has not changed. And why do I say this one? The very first time Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba starts talking about, doing jihad or uprising or standing up against Muawiyah, the very same problems start to happen. People keep silent. Why? The very same mentality. Why? It is reminding them of a battle of Siffin, perhaps. It is telling them that this battle has no, goods in it. You will not be able to gain any of the material stuff from this battle. And that's what Imam al-Hassan keeps on talking on his sermon. And when is this happening? This is happening after Muawiyah has actually revealed his face already. Because immediately after the Shahadat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Muawiyah does not stand still. He keeps on, planning different plots to get rid of Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba right at the beginning. So among the evil plots that he has, he starts sending his, his spies towards the city of Kufa and Basra to make fitnas in the transition of the power. So the one who goes in Kufa, who goes actually in the form of a butcherman, he goes and he enters the city of Kufa. Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba on the up front, he tells the ashab, be aware of him. So they keep an eye on him. On the spot, they capture him and they behead him. Then he sends a letter to the Wali of Basra, to the governor of Basra, saying that Muawiyah has already sent his spies among you. So when you look for these guys, make sure you try to figure out who is causing the fitna among the ummah of mu'mineen and mu'minat. That's the first trick of Muawiyah, trying to topple the power right in the city of Kufa and Basra. What is the second one? He starts to bribe the people who were close in the city of Kufa. Yet again, they had the mentality of the Khawarij. Khawarij were not vanished. Yes, Amir al Mu'mineen killed so many of them in the Battle of Nahrawan, but the ideology was still there among the very same people. Now, some of them they had this hatred towards Muawiyah, which is the reason that they side with, Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba, and they were trying to accompany him in his battle, but they didn't have any liking towards Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba either. Especially when, Imam al-Hassan takes on the member and starts talking about a battle that we are going to go, meaning against Muawiyah, and in this battle there will be no sense of material gains. He starts talking about this stuff. They start saying, "Oh, he's becoming like his father," referring to Amir al-Mu'mineen. So you see the shift of momentum among the people. So the second action of Muawiyah is he tries to sends bribes for the very same people who actually combined their forces to kill Amir al-Mu'mineen, to plot the assassination for Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba. And he spends heavy money on this part. The part that you have read in the narrations in the ahadith, that Imam al-Hassan used to wear an armor underneath the clothes, comes from this aspect. Meaning, on the very first beginning days of him becoming the Imam of the Ummah, he had to wear a piece of armor underneath his clothes. Why? Because every second, every moment, there could be a possibility of an attack on his life from the very same people who were living in Kufa. Not all of them. Obviously, you had the Shi'ayans and Muhibbin, but in terms of the number, you had so many who had this enmity towards Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba from day one. The very same one who we're not saying they're respond to Amir al-Mu'mineen, obviously. And of course you had it goes in the, relatively speaking, it goes in degrees. So the third thing that Muawiyah does, he actually forms his army. And as he's constantly trying to bribe all the people in the city of Kufa, he's taking his army and getting closer and closer to the border of Iraq of that time. And that's when Imam al-Hassan, despite of all of the dangers, he still goes on the member and he gives his famous sermon, and it calls everybody to do jihad against Muawiyah, because he has already reached the border and he's killing the mu'minin and mu'minat. Still at that time, Look at the sad history of Imam's time. As he finishes his sermon, there is pitch silence. Nobody stands up to, like, express their loyalty. Nobody stands up to express their support for Imam al-Hassan. Nobody. Until the ashab, the few ashab of Imam al-Hassan, they stand up one by one and they start talking to the people. That what's wrong with you guys? Here's the son of Nabi Rasulullah, son of Amir al-Mu'minin, son of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra, calling you to do jihad on the Sabil Allah, and nobody stands up to show their support. So one by one, they stand up, the ashab. Little by little, a momentum gets formed within. They finally get ready